Let's get ready to rumble!
Are you ready, Great Torp?
Yes.
Alright, here we go, guys. So, we have one hell of a match coming up.
Yep.
It is Inka versus Moonglade.
And this is, of course, week 4, division number 4. I'm joined alongside by my good old friend, Gunrun.
Yes, I am Gunrun, and with me is Great Torp, or rather, I'm with Great Torp right now. And yes, we're loading up the first game here. Let's go and see what is up.
Nevertheless, we are heading over to Terminus SE for our first match. This epic PvZ. Of course, we saw Inka balling it out last week. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we have in store from this time around.
Balling out of control, huh, Great Torp?
Oh my gosh, he was
out of control.
So good, man. Now, Inka, a little bit about his CVP, or his PvZ style, I should say, is he loves to go Mass Stalker, Immortal, High Templars. And it's a really, really cool style. The biggest problem with it is getting there. It is sometimes hard. You have to rely on gateway units to really get you there. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do. However, on a map like Terminus, I think we have a good defensive position. He'll get there very, very easily.
Yeah, we'll see how he does against a player like Moonglade. One of those guys out there who's amazing at Zerg. But yeah, let's get started with our positioning here. So at the 12 o'clock location as our blue Protoss, he is Inka, as Great was saying earlier. And who do we have at the 6 o'clock?
We have Moonglade as our red Zerg. So we are in cross positions, a little bit about cross positions, just a little bit of a longer rush distances.
Yep.
Or rush distance, but we know Moonglade for the most part is a pretty standard player. He does mix it in a little bit, puts in that pressure here and there, but I highly doubt we'll see that on a map like Terminus.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see any kind of like crazy, cheesy speedling all-ins or just something ridiculous. But yeah, both these players well seasoned at their craft. And we'll see how this works out. They are cross positions, as you said earlier, furthest distance away from each other as possible. Gas can be, and there we go. Inka moving on in, does scout out with a probe Moonglade's position and sees what's going on.
Moonglade did throw down that spawning pool already, so he is absolutely fine. He's going ahead, droning up as much as possible. In the meantime, we do have a fast forge coming down from Inka, and we're probably going to see some sort of fast expansion, of course. And it looks like he's going to go Nexus before he goes any cannons. I like how he's doing this, not opting to put down the cannon just yet, knowing that his probe is right here. Now, if the Zerglings sprint ahead and go for the Nexus, maybe, just maybe, he might be able to catch him. But, of course, Moonglade has no indication, and this probe can do serious damage.
Yep, probe is no longer in position to go and block that hatchery, so Moonglade will move in with that one drone and deploy that sucker. There we go, and the spawning pool is completed, and it does lead to 4 lings. There we go, with the 4 lings chasing away the probe, and the probe is all like, oh, I was right there, I could have stopped them. Oh, well, it's all out of the way, and he knew what he was getting into anyway, so all good.
Yeah, I actually like this. What Inka was doing was just checking out the timings to see when the Zergling was coming out. In fact, the probe is going to be taken out, but we can see that the gateway was actually started before the photon cannon. The photon cannon is now just going to finish up here, and there's no way that he could be pressured at all. I love this pylon positioning over here as well.
Yep, and it creates that bit of a SimCity wall off too, forcing the links to take a really long way around that Big Dipper lineup all the way to the Nexus from that ramp. Very nice. Actually, maybe there might be a hole there, but regardless though, we do see the gateway coming up finally. And there's our first link. Will it go run around? Let's see. Nope, he has to go around totally there. It doesn't want to interact with that one photon cannon. And there we go, the drone's going right down. Or probes, excuse me. There we go. I think it should be called drones at this point. There's like such a superior term for workers.
Oh, of course.
Just forcing out the fanboyism. Or rather, the racism, I guess. Anyway, there we are. Moonglade moving down with that queen to the hatchery. There we go. Getting ready to larval inject. And there's the drones as well.
So for now, we do see Inka is going just 1 gas for now. He is pretty gateway-centric for the most part. That is standard on a map like Terminus where, well, actually, I shouldn't say a map like Terminus. On a position where you're really, really focusing on walling off like this. A lot of times you see wall-offs coming across here, but you are a little vulnerable with this destructible rocks out here. Now, Inka is actually chrono boosting out all of his gateways. He's getting a lot of zealots in this early game stage, and we're going to see some sort of early game pressure coming out from him. I like this. He's taking advantage of the map feature, saying my opponent's probably going to expand really, really fast. I'm going to put on the hurt, get a lot of zealots out in this stage, and then really, really take advantage of the build orders that are probably coming up, which is the fast third, as we know.
Yep, definitely. And yeah, as you just said, fast third is coming up from Moonglade. No creep tumors. I see the creep tumors are beginning to spread out right now between the bases. Can't wait for that to interact with the third one as well. But yeah, Moonglade is still just drone away right now. We see 6 in queue, and there we go. About to see that hat trick just complete right there. What's going on up there?
We do see the Zealots are starting to mobilize right now. Zergling will spot him out and say, oh man, that's a lot of Zealots. So what does Moonglade do? He needs to do something quickly, and I would say it would have to be some sort of creep tumor, or excuse me, spine crawler, but he hasn't put down anything.
Wow, yeah, so he saw 6 Zealots heading towards his base. Still, Red Alert hasn't been called yet. We do see 18 Zerglings in production though. And if he can do this just right, those Zealots will be able to do a ton of damage to those guys. Here we go, Inka moving in threes here. First 3 moving on up into the main. He's going to go after the queen though.
Oh my gosh, and it looks like the bottom 3 are going to interact as well. The Zerglings coming in perfect timing, now going up to the ramp. That's the best part. Almost like a 300 stand going on right here. Zealots are going to be able to clean up everything. Looks like he still has 5, but one's going down, 2 goes down.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, probably wasn't possible actually. But yeah, one queen does end up going down. There are 2 more Zealots in the mix here, and they're heading right into the third. These drones are undefended other than the queen, and he is forced to pull him off mining for now.
Yep, really, really nice job by Inka, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Now, finally, the last remaining Zealots are going to be cleaned up by these Zerglings and this one queen. Let's go ahead and look at income tab. 50 to 41, still in favor of Moonglade. I don't think there was that much economic damage. No, just one drone being done. So, you know, it's very, very hard to say if that was worth it or not. A lot of people would probably say Inka is behind from this. And, yeah, I'm almost positive by his actions, Inka's actions, that he is behind because he's taken this expansion. And theoretically, it cannot be defended.
Yeah, but there's our first few links from Moonglade. Links in out trying to see the status currently of Inka's base. Back at home, the gateway is finally morphing up into a warp gate, so that's all ready to go. And there's our first link from Moonglade. And he does spot the third is indeed coming up right now. Moonglade right now is researching melee attacks level 1 and also spots that there's a nice number of sentries up there. He moves up close enough. I think he saw the robotics facility there too. And yeah, with that, looks like Moonglade will go and expand towards the center bottom area. So he will be on 4 bases once he can maintain.
Yeah, and what this is basically saying is, Inka, I'm always going to threaten you in terms of the economic gain in this particular StarCraft game. He's saying, I'm going to try to always have an advantage on you in my income, and therefore I will be able to have advantage overall with my army size if you just let it happen. And Inka is constantly saying to himself, well, crap, I need to timing push. I need to keep pushing on my opponent and making sure that they do not get up this economic advantage. But, you know, Moonglade is able to hold on to things by the thinnest of margins and really, really maximize himself to be so efficient. And look at this. Holy crap, Inka has a lot of sentries coming in.
Yeah. Looks like that Inka did move an observer into the main of Moonglade and did spot the Spire. He's just hanging out right now. A second observer is also there too, just to provide a little bit more insight, it looks like. But yeah, he's just chilling out, knows that a Spire is on its way up. And also looks like Moonglade did drop a macro hatchery as well, so this guy is ready to just be pumping out the units by the dozens. And there it is, more than a dozen Mulisks on their way right now.
Yes, and Inka is going to be very, very sad. There is a warp prism coming out right here. I've actually never looked at this little box here. That is the coolest thing in the world. But a warp prism coming out here, and what he's trying to do is actually force field this ramp and just ravage his opponent's main. But these mutas don't have to worry about any force fielded ramps. They're gonna just go over here and probably kill the warp prism ASAP. Man.
Yeah, there's a ton of mutas. Yeah, that warp prism animation is pretty weird. It's like a bunch of lasers firing at each other. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like those old Mario tubes just firing into each other. Maybe a little bit of Donkey Kong too. But anyway, here he goes, deploying and now attacking the Spire. Spire is now getting assaulted by 3 sentries. And oh, you're gonna force fielding the drones in position. Beautiful, and there's the warp in. We got Zealots coming on in, and the Zerglings need to find their way around to the other side. Just getting caught up. Great job holding those guys back. At this moment, this Spire is screwed.
Well, the transfuse goes off, but yes, it will go down. Finally, the mutas are going to come in here and swing out, but that was an awesome, awesome display of how quick
The
Inka
tides can
is.
shift
Holy
here, man.
crap.
Yeah, Inka being monstrously, yeah, just coming in there with the War Prism and cleaning up that Spire. Moonglade forced to create another one right now, about halfway done, but he was also researching as well. And yeah, that'll take a while for any more mutas to be pumped out. Need to wait for that structure to complete. But the mutas are on their way up north right now. And Moonglade yet again grabbing another hatchery at the center right location. Very nice.
Yeah, he is swarming so fast. We do see the mutas finally starting to mobilize onto that main. It looks like Inka is very well defended, though. He has Stalkers in place. And he's right now, does he have Blinks? Yes, he does have Blink Stalkers. So he will be able to really scale proportionally with these mutas.
Yeah, those Stalkers have a case of the Blinks right now, and they're ready to just go and defend themselves against all those mutas. But the mutas will just fall back right now. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of lings, a lot of red on this map too, and a lot of purple as well. I love just seeing that creep just slowly spread out there. And I'm hoping he continues to do so as well. Also looks like a ton of spine crawlers coming down right now for Moonglade. Really just wants to well defend himself against those ground units or like various counterattacks that could occur. And here come the mutas yet again through the left side, left corridor, but there's a ton of Blink Stalkers similar to what he saw in the main.
Now I'm really
almost took
wondering.
out the photon cannon, so close, 4 HP.
Now I'm really wondering where Inka's going to go from here, because as we saw before, 14 mutas were in queue. Units tab is showing 28 total mutas out in the field. That is a monstrously scary number when you're a Protoss player, because where do you go against all these mass mutas? You have to rely on those High Templars, Archons, or somehow Phoenixes, but really Phoenixes aren't a great way to deal with them. They hard counter a little bit too much, and of course at this end game stage the tech switch is too extreme, so you have to almost rely on the High Templars and the Archons, but you know that's very, very far away. It's very gas intensive.
And here comes the muta swarm yet again, focus firing on the remaining photon cannons. The other one only takes a couple hits, but yeah, he does finish off all the photons, and there's a mass warping of Stalkers. Kind of wish he did focus on that one pylon though. It would have been enough just to deny that warping, but yeah, he's not focusing on the remaining pylons. Inka going back with those Stalkers, grouping up with the rest of them in order just to scare them away. He needs to keep these guys all close together. Likewise too with Moonglade with this high number of mutas. Almost an entire page right now filled up. And +1 is about to complete as well.
Yeah, and more mutas are coming out onto the field. We can see that some of them are just sitting over here. Unit tab showing 31 mutas right now, 4 more in queue. This is getting so scary, because the mobility of these mutas are the biggest key. They're not necessarily the hugest DPS down. They're not good for dealing damage against the army. However, catching units consistently out of position is going to be Inka's hardest thing to overcome.
Absolutely. Muta's ability to come in and out is unlike any other unit in the game, and since they're in air, they can just do that so easily, and their DPS too in huge numbers like this is so monstrous. Here we go again, focusing a little bit on the Nexus. Oh, double pylon kill. Don't see that too often. But yeah, he's gonna work on just target attacking all these Stalkers as they're grouped up together, and Moonglade just going in right now hard, just ablazing at this moment. A lot of Colossus just walking on by. He might be able to snipe a Colossus here. Now he will decide to just fall back completely, but yeah, nice job there.
He lost a lot from that. Let's go ahead and look at 25 mutas total. Of course, he can pump that up so fast. He has so many gases right now. He's working on getting his 10th and 11th gas, getting that 3 o'clock expansion. Oh my goodness.
It's more like a 230 Greator, but yes, so many bases already controlled by Moonglade right now, and that just leaves to more gas, which leads to more mutas, and he can really afford to just have these interactions where he loses so many, but also just does so much damage to Inka. Relatively though, is all speaking, but yeah, we'll see how it works out as Inka is actually moving out through the ground right now. Going to work on acquiring his northern central expansion here, base number 4 for Protoss.
Yeah, looks like upgrades are looking like 1-0 for the mutas, 2-1 though for the Stalkers, so they are really strong. Now finally the mutas coming in here again, going to take out these 2 photon cannons, almost one-shotting him it seems like, and now going for that Nexus. Oh my god, look at how fast that Nexus dies.
Oh man,
there's no chance for that to stay alive.
That is just so nice, and that pyramid just collapses under its own weight of the mutaballs, and yes, just falls apart. All these Stalkers coming back, but it's way too late. Their precious Nexus number 3 has been destroyed.
Look at this, that 3 o'clock expansion has been now saturated. What's Inka do? He does have High Templars in this army, 5 to be exact. No Archons out just yet, but look at this, mutas are coming in again. They want more. But Inka's going to say, screw it, I have to go right now. This is the best chance that I have. He's actually just about equal in supplies. And, oh my god, a couple of
genocide for a second there. Kind of wish like Moonglade moved in with those lings when all that entire force was out of there. But oh my god, Greator. So many spine crawlers. But anyway,
yeah.
Moonglade's going to lose this base over here on the right side quite handily. But it looks like, likewise with Inka and his base at the northern area. And Moonglade just going in for the base kills, just hitting up the natural right now. And man, I can't wait to see the spine crawlers in action. I've never seen that many spine crawlers outside of a custom match 4v4, man. This is just going to be just ridiculous. Here we go.
Yeah, he's going to go directly into these spine crawlers. Spine crawlers will be able to do a lot of damage. It looks like he's just going to sidestep all of these and go directly for the main.
Be a man. Just walk through that. Force the spine crawlers. Do it, Inka. No. Inka's actually going to be smart. Move down directly south. He does have a bunch of High Templar full of energy. But man, look great. Or Moonglade and all of his Mutalisks, they're doing so much upstairs.
Oh, yes, they are now finally moving into the main. It looks like the group of Stalkers back here, but it's definitely not going to be enough with all these mutas. So this will be, in fact, a base race. The Greater Spire is being focused down, dies so fast.
Yeah, and we're about to see a whole bunch of orphan drones. Looks like Inka's target attacking the hive. This is straight up base race time. Lots of stuff getting destroyed right now. The production tab is just so lonely. And yeah, Inka doing just so much damage right now. Likewise with those mutas. This is pretty crazy right now, Greator.
Yeah, but I don't know. Does Inka have any units out on the middle of the map? No, he does not. It's going to be so hard because Moonglade can go into a base race. This is going to be the last Nexus that Inka has, so everything's going to be revealed. He has no probes out in the field. Income shows 0 harvesters. And look at how many Zerglings just pop out right there. They're going to go and engage because they were already dead. No way that they can get out.
And he's so well fortified at that one base towards the center south. And Inka drops the GG. Wow, Greator.
So some impressive play coming out from Moonglade. I have to say that was the coolest style ever. Of course, going into those base races, and mutas almost always have the upper hand whenever you're in that situation, just because their mobility, as we were talking about before.
Yeah, absolutely. And just seeing what he decided to do with having all those bases, dropping down so many spine crawlers, going in with the mutas like that, it's just so cool. Especially as a Zerg player, just seeing how someone can utilize that race in just such a fashion.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a cool way of playing, too, because as we saw last game, there wasn't any main confrontations. There weren't any main, like, oh my god, look at this huge battle. No. It was all, hey, look at how positionally I played. Look at how, I sidestep your entire army and won just from starving you. And that is such an awesome way to play. Moonglade just showing the dynamics of ZVP and another style that really the scene hasn't really seen. That's correct. The scene hasn't really seen in a long time.
Yes.
In a long time.
Gotta love when words do that. But yeah, we're going to be heading to our second game right now, and I just can't wait to see what we get from these two players. See you soon, guys.